So now recipe 2, golden beetroot cashew burger. So this is another powerhouse of health protective nutrients with a rainbow color. And eating more plant foods, eating more plant proteins, plant foods also helps us cut back on processed meat and red meats. And, you know, we usually have a burger on the grill. So I'm not saying you can't. You still can. We're not telling you to become vegetarian. But to incorporate some of the plant proteins, Jeremy's come up with a great way of not only giving us plant protein, but also adding fiber. And according to our guidelines, we want to try to get at least 25 grams of fiber a day. We're in Canada probably around 15 grams a day. So this recipe, we'll talk a little bit more about where the fiber is coming from. But I just want to jump in to see what Jeremy's doing right now.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm peeling some beets. That's exciting as it is right now. But that's because we're making a golden beet cashew burger. And yeah, we want to do something plant-based for the barbecue. I mean, I think barbecue for a long time has obviously become synonymous with meat-based foods for sure. But it's nice to change it up a little bit, like Daniela said, and maybe include some plant-based options. Now, I will say right off the bat, I'm in no way trying to make this sort of taste like a burger, like a meat burger, or replace a meat burger at all. Not really a huge fan of that. This is going to taste like vegetables. So if you like vegetables, I think this is a great option. Even more so, it's going to taste like beets. So if you don't like beets, maybe choose a different vegetable. But this is using actually golden beets. And golden beets, have you ever used golden beets before? I'll throw it to everyone maybe. Thumbs up. So no one's used it before. So golden beets, they are becoming way more accessible. I'm seeing them in most of the grocery stores that I do go to. It is obviously a version of the beet. It is orangey yellow. You can see it unpeeled and peeled. It has this incredibly sweet flavor to it. And it's not as, so red beets have that sort of very earthy component to it, right? A really earthy flavor that, I mean, some people love it. I love it, but it's not for everyone because it is pretty intense, pretty strong. Golden beets aren't as overpowering. They're not as strong. They just have this really, really nice, like a mild earthiness, but this really, really nice burst of sweetness and obviously crunch as well. So really, really great option if you've never used it before. And beets and a lot of these root vegetables tend to be sort of the more, I guess, budget-friendly options. Not always, but you find the ingredients that most people just bypass and don't pick up are usually the ones that are a little more on the budget-friendly side. So definitely give them a shot. This is going to be the base, the bulk of our burgers today. So what I'm going to do is bring it down to our equipment, our machinery. We want our beets, so we're not cooking them. We're going to be doing this raw. We want them grated, okay? So this is gonna be a lot easier to make our burgers. So you can definitely do this by hand. Cheese grater, fine, you know, that'll absolutely work. I'm using a food processor and it does have this attachment. Most people do ask me, like, what is your sort of favorite piece of equipment, or if you had to like invest in a piece of equipment. A food processor is something that I use more than almost anything, like other than obviously a stove or an oven. Food processor is something I use so much because it helps so much with the prep work. Okay, so especially if your cooking skills aren't the strongest or your prep skills aren't the strongest, to like break down, you know, a mirepoix, and carrots and onion and celery for a soup or a dish, you know, you just pretty much throw everything in here, buzz it up, and you're good to go. Like, it does help with a lot of that lifting and that leg work in the kitchen. So that's what I'm going to be using to grate it. I have a grater attachment. As I grate it, so I'm going to throw this through here. I'm also going to be grating one carrot to add some more color. I'm going to turn my audio off so that I don't blow everyone's eardrums off. And there's a question from the chat for Daniela. So Daniela, what are the varied health properties of golden versus regular beets, if any? And I will leave it to you, and I will mute myself.
Wow. Thank goodness I did my research on that. I was really curious myself. So there isn't much of a difference in the profile. They both have antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. The type of pigment, the type of phytochemical in the red beets and purple beets is beta-cyanins, and those in the orange beets are beta-xanthins. So they're still betas, they're still part of the carotenoid family, and they function pretty well the same. The folate is about the same, and same with the manganese and copper. And they both provide, if we were looking at a 100-gram serving, 3/4 cup, you're getting 2 grams of fiber. So it's also bumping up your fiber as well. So good question, whoever put that out there.
Yes, wonderful question. Hopefully that answered your question. Thank you to Daniela for answering that. So you might have some like thin scraps at the end if you're grading through here. These are great just to kind of chew on, which is what I usually do, which I won't do on camera. It won't be polite of me. And here we have our grated carrot and beet ready to go. And so what I'm going to do is set this aside in a bowl. Try to take most of it out. Again, the color is just like this sunburst. Yeah, amazing color. I will say that these golden beets oxidize very, very quickly. So what I mean by that is obviously the contact with air is going to start discoloring them. So make them, if you grate them, move on to the next steps. Like I wouldn't grate them ahead of time, put it aside, and then make it an hour later, because you'll start to lose the color on that. Okay, so grated, putting it aside, and now I'm just going to add the regular blade attachment to this, and we're going to put the rest of our ingredients in here. So first ingredients, cashews. This is going to add some nice bulk to our burgers. And then Daniela, like in terms of like we're getting a little protein, or what else are we getting here with the cashews?
With the cashews, yes. So cashews, nuts and seeds. I think a lot of people turned away from nuts and seeds at one point because they thought, oh, this is really high in fat, lots of calories. But it's a healthier fat that it's in there. It's a monounsaturated fat. It's a great source of fiber that we already talked about being important for heart health, for glucose control, and for reducing our risk of cancer. And then there's also the protein, right? So we talked about plant proteins. And so 1 ounce of cashew. So I don't know, well, Jeremy will have to give us the breakdown, but 1 ounce of cashews could provide 5 grams of protein, 1 gram of fiber, and about 20% of our daily needs for magnesium and manganese. And I know a lot of times I've been asked, do you have a list of magnesium-rich foods? Because some of the medications patients are on, that is one of the minerals that they might be deficient in. So nuts and seeds are great, and actually the cashews is great too. So great option in this plant protein burger. And also great snack if you're hungry in the middle of the day, or if you're coming to the hospital and you're going to be there all day, having some nuts and seeds and maybe throw in a few raisins is a great little snack.
Love it.
Off to you.
All right, so we have our cup of cashews in here. I added half an onion for some more aroma, flavor. I'm going to add 2 cloves of garlic, and I'm just, again, the food processor is going to do most of the work for me. So I'm just going to crush it just to sort of break it open, get those flavors going, throw that in there. And then for some of our other binding ingredients, you can just use breadcrumbs. Like if you just have breadcrumbs, use breadcrumbs. Make it easy for yourself. I had some oats. Oats are a substitute I will usually actually include in dishes if it's requires like breadcrumbs as a binder, or even like as a coating, like a crispy coating, I'll often use oats in there because it does work pretty similarly. And it's also whole grain, right? So really great to add that. And then I also have some flaxseed. This is ground flax. Ground flax is a great ingredient to help absorb excess moisture. So especially if we're using a burger, which is made of plant-based ingredients, that means it's going to mostly be water. So we don't want a soggy burger. That is not pleasant at all. So that flax in here, the oats will too, but the flax especially is going to help pull and absorb some of that excess moisture and water when it cooks. And that way it's prevented from sort of falling apart. So we're going to add all that in. I'm not doing shots. It's not party time yet. This is apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is going to add this really, really nice punch of flavor. Again, going back to the point with the citrus in the first recipe and how that acidity acts as a flavor enhancer. The vinegar is an acid as well, and that is going to help really boost and really enhance all of the other flavors in this dish. So nice tablespoon-ish apple cider vinegar, and any other spices that you like. I have some cumin, coriander, and onion powder. No, sorry, this is garlic powder in here. That's just what I had, and so I'm gonna throw it in. But if you like smoked paprika, that would be amazing in this. If you like dried oregano, that would be really good in this as well. Margo, you mentioned jerk chicken. If you had jerk spice, that would be amazing in this. That would be really, really good in this. So this is where it's customizable for the flavors that you like. What I would say is don't be shy with the flavors. So you definitely use enough in there so that it comes through in the burger. And then I'm just gonna add about just a tablespoon of olive oil. Don't need too much. I guess that's my tablespoon. Maybe you can measure it out. Boom, and then a little bit of salt. And then you can add pepper too if you want. All right, so this is going to be sort of the big binder for the burger. We're gonna help to hold everything together. I'm also gonna mute myself here, Daniela, if there's anything else you want to add.
There's a lot. So he added oats. And the thing about oats, it adds fiber, but it's a special kind of fiber. It's beta glucan. It's a soluble fiber. And I don't know if you've heard about prebiotics versus probiotics, but the prebiotics is the fiber that you find in oats, the beta glucan, the inulin, and it is food for our healthy bacteria in our gut. So that's what they're referring to when they say it's great for gut health. It's because it's helping to maintain the health of the friendly bacteria in our gut to help with our immune system, to help with bringing down inflammation. With that, I will say that if you're on treatment and you're having trouble with fiber, maybe save this wonderful burger for when you can tolerate fiber again, and have something that is lower in fiber today. Maybe go for the salmon skewers at the chosen family, the backyard grill. And then the next time, because we're gonna have a lot of grills over the summer, right? The next time when you're feeling better and your system's better, you're not on treatment, then try this product. How's it looking, Jeremy? Oh, can't hear you.
We're good. All right, so I pulsed it down until the ingredients are pretty fine, and then once the oats and the nuts were sort of broken down, it's almost like a cookie dough consistency, right? So it shouldn't be super wet. If you do find that it is very, very wet, the mixture, add some extra oats or flaxseed and just blend that through so that it sort of pulls everything together. And that's pretty much it. I added the grated carrots and beets, and that was about 2 cups worth of grated ingredients. Again, I'll mention that for those that are aware, so we'll post all of these recipes tomorrow on our website with all of the measurements and methods so that you can follow along as well. So there is our mixture ready to go. So this is essentially going to mimic your burger ground, and you can start to form your patties. Now, as I put some patties together, let's talk toppings. Margo and Raymond, what are your go-to? I know that some people get very, very particular. I am a no ketchup person. Keep the ketchup away from my burgers, but my partner is a must ketchup person, so that is where we differ. Where do the toppings stand on your tables?
Well, I'm definitely no ketchup. I'm with you there, Jeremy. I often like cheese, onion, lettuce, and mayo and pickles on my burger.
Ooh.
For me, I like a really hearty pickle to counter all of the savoriness of a burger. And I really like a raw onion, the rawest you can find. And as for condiments, I am team ketchup. I'm also team mustard, if that can also go into a burger. I don't really discriminate. I just don't want a tomato. I'm not a big fan of a raw tomato.
So you like the tomato sauce version?
Yes.
Ketchup version. That's how you like the tomatoes. That's good. Both great answers. I am definitely on team mustard all the way on most things. How about Daniela? How about for yourself?
Maybe more of a little spicy flavor, not ketchup, but barbecue sauce. I don't know.
Oh yeah, here we go.
If I do that, I'm not going to do the mustard, but I do love my greens. So some lettuce on there, and I do love my pickles. For some reason, I like my pickles on the side, not in the burger, but I like to crunch on them when I'm having my burger. Yeah. Now I've got cravings for pickles and corn. Kind of a weird thing right now.
You'll have to include it. Your next chosen family barbecue. I'll throw it out as I'm making these patties. I'll throw it out to anyone watching. Let us know. Throw it in the chat. What are your favorite toppings? And are you team mustard or team ketchup or both? I'd love to know. Okay, so what we're doing is just forming it into patties like you would with any, burger. This I'm keeping on the thicker side because I do want it to hold together. I don't want to make it too thin because again, it's, there isn't a ton of binding in it and it's plant-based. I don't want it to fall apart or crumble. So we do want it about, what was that, like half an inch thick, 3/4 inch.
Jeremy, that always happens to my veggie burgers. They always fall apart and fall through the grill, and I've never had any luck. They just don't stay together. Is there any other tricks for them to hold together? Or like when you try to turn them over, they just fall apart.
Yeah. Okay. So yes. So most, like especially if you're making it from scratch, they won't have that same integrity, obviously, that like a chicken burger or a beef burger, any animal-based burger will. So especially even like something like this, I probably wouldn't go directly on the grill. I would need a surface that has just a little bit more support for it. So if I'm doing it on the barbecue, I'm absolutely going to do that indirect cooking method. So I'll have it on like a pan with some parchment, just like this pretty much, and put it onto the side that doesn't have heat, or even just low heat, because it's okay if I have a little bit of heat under the pan, and then have the other side really nice and hot. And that way you can sort of flip directly off of this pan as you need to versus on the grill. Now, I have made veggie burgers that do work well on the grill. And sometimes if you add cornstarch, a little bit of cornstarch to your patty mixture will help to hold it together. Also, the key is to make it as dry as possible. So if you're using ingredients Like if you're using like beans, for example, beans, nuts, and those plant-based, you're not going to bring a ton of water to it. And so especially if you add some oats and your flavors, those will stay pretty firm. Once you start adding very high water-based vegetables, you're bringing a lot of water to the game, and that's when the grill and the patty becomes a little unstable. So cornstarch, more flour, just anything to absorb any of that excess moisture is really, really going to help. Also, another trick is what I would do with these, and you can do it with these, is pop them in the freezer. Freeze them for like an hour until they're really nice and solid, and then I would throw it on the grill. So you're going to get that nice grill mark, you're going to get that char, and it's going to slowly start to heat up in the middle. There isn't any animal products in here, everything's cooked, so I'm not worried about like an undercooked burger or anything. But at least it'll hold its integrity, and I'll still get some of that grill mark and that char on the outside. So those are a couple things that could help. Someone from the chat also suggested a flax egg. So yes, flax egg, that is it's almost what I did here. So adding that flax seed, once that comes in contact with some water, it gives you this sort of like, what's a good word? It's very viscous. Very sticky consistency, almost acting like an egg would in terms of binding, keeping it together. So yeah, that flax is a saver when it comes to veggie burgers. So hopefully those help. Margo. These, again, like I said, you can do them on barbecue. If you aren't cooking outside, or if you don't have barbecue, you can throw them into the oven. And I like to do a very high heat. So I'll go 450 degrees in the oven for about 20 minutes. 15 to 20 minutes. Keep an eye on it. It's going to get some really nice golden brown. You can flip it halfway through, and that's pretty much it. And I've done some ahead of time, so we can show you here. Oh, there's two. One, I threw some cheese on it, so it got really nice and melty. And you can see the other patty here, so you can see that really, really nice golden brown. And you can see how it holds together really, really well. The key again is to get as much of that water out as possible. And because I didn't pre-cook any of the ingredients, all of that is being done either in the oven or in the barbecue. Okay, and there we go. There's our burger patty. So now it is time to assemble. This is where I guess you show your condiment allegiances.
Margo's is already ready there, already started.
I know, I've got eye on that one. Yes.
You can obviously, we made our own buns. You don't have to do this, but we're celebrating Pride, so we want to make these kind of purple buns to go with the rest of the color. And we just used red beets. We blended some red beets, grated red beet with water, and added that to our just a really nice little bun recipe, which I'll include as well on our website if anyone does want to make a nice kind of colorful bun. And it turned out really well. So really happy with that. And assemble. So I am going with barbecue sauce. I am actually agree with Daniela on that. I think the barbecue sauce is a really, really nice zip. With this, put I'm gonna go with the cheese patty on there. And then, sorry, Raymond, but I am doing a tomato. Obviously, you don't have to do a tomato.
Look at that big fat tomato.
Yeah, that's it. And maybe just a little bit of lettuce on there, but obviously, you can make whatever you want here. The patty flavor is going to have this sort of light sweet and light earthiness from the beets, but the texture actually comes out really, really, really well. So there is our
Beet, that looks awesome.
Golden beet burger. See if I can do a nice slice on it, so you can see what it looks like in the middle. And there,
gorgeous.
Go. There's our golden beet cashew burger for our backyard grill.